Here we are. We're recording? Really? Okay, good. Welcome back then. This is our English language version of a video that I just did the other day called The Image of the Virgin of Guadalupe. Painting or miracle? Hernan Cortez, some of you will be familiar with his name from the history books. Cortez conquered Mexico City, then called Tenochtitlan, in 1521, not many years after Columbus contacted the Americas in 1492. It's interesting that the churches in Mexico, they predate the conquest of Mexico City. The oldest church in Mexico is in La Antigua in Veracruz, which dates to 1519. Not long after the conquest of Mexico City, the Capilla de la Expiración in Tulancingo was built in 1526. Wikipedia's entry on the history of the flags of Mexico notes the following description of the image on the banner brought to Mexico by Cortez. The conquistador Hernan Cortez used a banner of conquest in 1521. The banner is represented with the bust of the Virgin Mary. The flag was painted on a red damask, wearing a golden crown accompanied by rays and 12 stars forming a semicircle on her head. The image depicts Mary as Catholics conceive her to be. I found that the original flag or banner which Cortez brought from Spain is kept in Mexico City, and there are several photos of it online. I have them here. Keep in mind that the account of the alleged appearance of the Virgin Mary to Juan Diego, some church authorities even doubt his existence, and the creation of the controversial image on the tilma, which they say occurred by miracle, similar to the Shroud of Turin, occurred in 1531. So this is 10 years after Cortez conquered Tenochtitlan. Here's a photo reproduction of the tilma. A picture frame presently cuts off the top of the image's head, while older reproductions of the image of the tilma in artwork show that the figure wore a crown with 12 points, similar to the other image. Priests had an artist remove the crown, according to Vatican authorities. The removal of this crown is evident on the image. Now let's examine the banner of Cortez in the second image below. Do you see something familiar about it? When we compare this banner to the tilma, both images depict 8-pointed stars on her cloak. Both images, they portray the Mary figure as having a golden crown, although the church ordered the removal of the crown from the tilma. The radiant spikes of golden light emanating from the figure are identical. Both images are references to Revelation chapter 12, according to the traditional interpretation by the Roman Catholic Church. Both figures are in a similar pose. The heads are tilted slightly to the viewer's left, with the hands portrayed in reverential prayer, as seen in many representations of Mary from both before and contemporary with the time period, demonstrating artistic religious conventions of the time. In fact, the hands are almost identical in both images. Both figures exhibit a mixture of older Byzantine iconic imagery with modern attempts at realism. It's partly two-dimensional in the flat style of religious iconography, and it partly attempts the Renaissance convention of using shading to imitate the effects of natural light on real objects to make it three-dimensional. And this combination of representing both natural light and spiritual iconic light is a characteristic of both artistic conventions from the period. Both images are examples of Spanish and Northern European artistic conventions rather than expressing the realism of Italian or Venetian art. And based solely on comparative studies in art history from the 15th and 16th centuries, it's my conclusion as a fine arts graduate that the image on the tilma of the Virgin of Guadalupe is a man-made work of art that is highly derivative of similar images that we've seen brought over by Cortez and by priests from Europe. So sadly, there's fraud involved in telling the public that the image on the tilma has a miraculous origin. However, in spite of this, the legend of the tilma has shaped the arts and the general culture of Mexico. More images of Mary. Here's one by Lorenzo Monaco from 1400. And then Sano de Pietro, Siena, 1406 to 1481. The Madonna and Child with Saint Bernardino of Siena. Notice here the stars. The stars, they fill her blue hood, and it has a gold fringe, like the tilma image. Compare the hands from the Guadalupe image with the hands from Cortez's banner. I have a link here. This link gives more similar images, including it's a German-made icon which a local Mexican artist probably copied. And so you can, if you're looking, do more research, look at the 5-minute mark in the video. So this concludes our examination of the image of the Virgin of Guadalupe, which is in Mexico City. And I've seen it twice. Remember to click like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that the content will be promoted in the algorithms. So that, God willing, I would like to continue putting up content for you. So, thanks for watching.